You guys should be on page 62 in your portfolios. We're going to go over another word, a word to go. It's called identity. So identity is a noun, which means it's a thing. It's something that you have, and it's something that you can discover or something that you can lose. So here's the meaning of it. It's a sense of who you are or a feeling of belonging to a particular group. So your identity could associate with the students here at Pentecate. It could associate with a nationality. It could associate with a certain genre of music. That's who you determine who you are. So for an example here, it says Vanessa's identity as a shy girl changed when she auditioned for the play. So she started with an identity as someone being shy. She knew herself as shy, everyone else knew her as shy, but then she auditioned for the play and her identity, or a sense of who she was, changed because she auditioned. So the second example says, I value my blank because it is a part of my identity as a or as an blank. I want you to come up with your own words to fill in this example. For an example, you could say, I value my musical ability because it is part of my identity as a band member. So pick something that you value, something that you value about yourself, and then tell me what it identifies you as a member of something, maybe a Latina, or maybe a member or a teenager. So what do you value that makes you a part of a particular group? So going on down to discuss and write examples. So this one says, in the United States, we blank as one way of showing our national identity. So what is something we do in the United States that is a way of us showing our national identity? For example, it could be in the United States, we celebrate Independence Day as one way of showing our national identity. And there's a few other things that we do as Americans that show that we belong to a national identity. So I want you to come up with one thing here that fits into this sentence. Now make sure you're checking for grammar. After you write it down, read it out loud and change what you need to change so the sentence is correct grammatically, so it sounds correct. So let's go to this next one. It says, my blank have helped to shape my blank. So for this first blank, you're going to pick a noun phrase, something like my family and friends, or somebody, my soccer coach, my teacher, Mr. Massio, something that has helped to shape my blank. Now, in this blank, you're going to use the word identity. All right, you're going to use the word identity there in this second blank. So pick something now, but realize this, your noun phrase here needs to be plural because of this word have. So you can't say my dad, because it would go, my dad have helped to shape my. So they want you to pick a plural noun phrase, something like my parents have, or my teachers have, or my family and friends have helped to shape my identity. So pick a plural noun phrase to go here. So let's go on to another build word knowledge with the word damage. Now, you probably heard of this word before. It's a verb. Well, there's actually two kinds of the word damage. All right, so this first one is a verb, meaning that it's something that you do. It's an action to damage something, right? And this damage is a noun, meaning it's a thing. So let's look at the two differences in these meanings for damage and damage. Same word, but you can use them in two different ways. So the first one here, meanings, it's to harm something or someone. So if I was to damage somebody, that means I'm causing harm to someone or to something. Now, the second meaning for damage, we're also going to write in the word harm, but this is the harm caused by something. So I can say, man, you couldn't believe the damage that was caused by the car accident. So that's using the word damage as a noun. It's a thing, the damage. Or you can use damage as a verb to do something. I damaged my reputation, or I damaged my shoes. So in this example, we're going to come up with an example for the verb form. So water will damage a or an blank. I want you to pick something that water would damage. There's a whole lot of things that water can damage. So I want you to fill in the rest of this example here. Water will damage a or an, and then insert the words there. Now, this next example, it says, after the blank, we examined the damage to our blank. So I'm going to use an example here. After the fire or after the mudslide. I only want you to pick one or the other. Don't write both with the slash, okay? You're going to pick either fire or mudslide. So after the fire, we examined the damage to our blank. So what would fire damage, or what would a mudslide damage? And that's when it rains so much that a part of a mountain turns to mud and then slides down and could damage a house, your photographs, your neighborhood. So those are some examples of what you could write down here. Now, realize that this sentence is using damage as a noun. We examined the damage. Because it's a thing, it's something you can examine or look at. All right? So go ahead and make sure that you filled out this box completely. All right, let's go down to the last section here. So in this discuss and write examples, the first sentence is, Lorenzo's reputation among his classmates was damaged when someone blank. All right, and you're going to start with a past tense verb. So a past tense verb. A verb is something you do. Past tense was something that you did yesterday. So Lorenzo's reputation among his classmates was damaged when someone started a rumor about him, for example, or when someone revealed his secret. All right, revealed, started, end with an ed, and that means it's a past tense verb. So go ahead and write down the rest of the sentence, either with one of the two examples I just gave or your own to finish this sentence. All right, the final sentence on this page says, the blank from blank can be a lifetime of poor health. So the word we're going to use here is damage. Remember, we're talking about the noun damage. This damage up here was the verb. Somebody damaged Lorenzo's reputation. All right, but this one is a noun. So it's the damage. I want you to write the word damage here. The damage from blank can be a lifetime of poor health. All right, so what is something you can do where the damage is a lifetime of poor health? Could be something along the lines of eating too much junk food, or from smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. And for this one, you're going to pick a verb with an ing. Again, a verb is something you do, but you're going to add an ing at the end. So eating, smoking, right? To eat or to smoke are verbs, but we're going to add the ing after it so that the sentence makes sense. The damage from eating too much junk food can be a lifetime of poor health. So go ahead and fill in this last sentence here.